We're going to solve some formulas starting with this one, which is the volume of a box. Now, because this has several variables in it, length times width times height, we call it a formula or a literal equation. We're going to follow a couple of steps to get W by itself as we're solving. The first one is to focus on that W, and you can see it's in the middle, multiplied by an L and an H. The second step is to undo what happened to W so we can isolate W. Okay, so here we go. So we've got volume is equal to length times width times height. Let's go ahead and divide off the length and the height. So I'm going to divide off the length, and I can go ahead and multiply this and divide off the height. But whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So I'm going to do that to the other side as well. Now, the lengths cancel from the right-hand side, so do the heights. When we divide those, we just get a 1. So as I finish this off, I end up with volume over length times height. So volume over L times H is equal to width, and that's our new formula. In this next one, we want to solve for L. This one is a perimeter, which is the length around the outside of this rectangle. So we've got 2 lengths plus 2 widths. As we're solving for L, we want to again focus on the variable that we want, and we're going to undo to get our L by itself. So my formula starts off this way. Perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. Now I really want to get L terms on one side and my everything else on the other side. So let's say that let's leave L terms on this side since they're already there, and everything else, so I'll say non-L on that side. Okay, so as I'm doing that, that means that I can keep the 2L where it is, but I want to subtract off that 2W. So let me get back to a different color here, and I'm going to subtract the 2W from both sides, minus 2W to keep this thing balanced. Okay, so what do we end up with? I've got P minus 2W, so P minus 2W, nothing that I can combine there. On the other side, the 2W's equals 0, and I get 2 times my length. Now I'm almost there. Did you hear me call this 2 times my length? So I'm multiplying that L by 2, so I want to divide everybody by 2. So certainly the right-hand side to cancel that 2, and I'm just going to write this as one big fraction. Everything on the left is also going to get divided by 2. Now we're following steps that are really similar to our multi-step equations. Take a look down below for a link to my video. I think we've got it. So we've got P minus 2W all divided by 2, and all we've got left on the other side is what we were solving for, and that is L. This is the conversion formula between degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. So we want to rewrite this equation so it gives me Fahrenheit when I plug in a Celsius. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on that Fahrenheit first, and I want to undo everything that happened. So I could distribute the 5/9, but I want to show you a much easier way to go. So I've got Celsius on the left, leave a little bit of room. I'm going to write 5/9, and then Fahrenheit minus 32. Now, instead of distributing that 5/9 through, remember our goal is to undo everything that happened to the F to get it by itself. So instead, I am going to go ahead and multiply by 9/5. So I'm going to multiply by that reciprocal so I can cancel. So I'm going to multiply by 9/5. I'm going to do that on the right side. And of course, whatever I do to the right side, I need to do to the left side as well. Now I do end up with 45 over 45, but you can also think of this as your 9s canceling and your 5s canceling, which means we've got nothing multiplied outside of those parentheses, and we can write this as 9/5 C is equal to F minus 32. Now remember, we wanted to get Fahrenheit all by itself. I'll bet you know what that last step is. And if you said to add that 32, you are absolutely correct. So let's go ahead and add that 32. I'm going to add the 32 to the other side as well. I don't have any like terms here, so what I have is my new formula. 9/5 times the degrees Celsius plus 32 is equal to degrees Fahrenheit, and that's our formula. You guys are doing so fantastic. Coming up next, we're going to look at some absolute value equations. Thanks for watching.